Hey everyone, welcome back. Now, time to do a little bit more of a project update on this part, more than what I have assigned for the month. So, what I have here are two of my main projects. This one here, the GMC dump truck, which I've got the trailer built up, as well as the dolly unit and a few other things. But just going to do a quick overview on this, and this here's a bit of an old project that I just recently pulled out. The 74 Plymouth Road Runner GTX. So, so these pretty much what I've been working on for a while. Haven't really been doing a video on these as I really should have. So, a little bit. So, this video is pretty much just going over what I've got so far until I do a proper full-on update. So, this is pretty much just going to be a case of glancing over everything. And plus, I do have a few projects planned for this month if I get around to it. So, starting off, we got the Plymouth Road Runner that I started about 2 months ago now, actually. So, end up having to repaint this one. Then decided to use the decals that came with it. Found out those were cracked, so it was pretty much a case of trying to get everything together. And then, pretty much been all over the place. Then did decide to add a vinyl roof to the car, which is my first time doing this, which I decided to use just regular masking tape, just full paint, just carving it out to look like an actual Plymouth Satellite vinyl roof, which was an interesting one as I thought it was just a full roof, but I found that there's a slight bit that's metal around the door and then off by the window. So there's that, and I'm sure, and then a little bit of the interior. Worked on a little bit of the interior, but not too much. Too much though. And I've yet to get the engine in the car, which, if some of you remember, was the NASCAR engine. And got the hood here. One thing that I didn't realize till later on is that when I took the paint off, I forgot to do it with the hood, so now the hood is a rather different shade of purple, which is quite noticeable. So I'm debating either just leave it for now or paint it, try to get to be a matching paint scheme. So there's pretty much that. Pretty much that to say about the car. Cool. And then with the GMC dump truck, pretty much that got the engine, got pretty much a lot of the parts painted up. Like got the engine, need to touch up the underside, grease it up a bit before I get everything fully installed on that. And then got the dump bed here, which got fully put together. And then did a little bit of weathering on the inside of it. Now, I would say for the dump bed, it went together quite nicely. There's a few things. There's one thing that I did have struggle with, which was trying to get the frame rails to a correct length or size. So this was pretty much trying to line everything up on the frame. It was getting rather difficult. So all I really decided to do, as I don't really display my models that often, I decided just to glue the frame rail supports down, so that it's just that much easier to line up on the frame, so that I can at least move everything back and forth if I need to. But yeah, did end up busting one of the tabs off, but I'm sure I can fix that easily. And then let's see, put this over to the side, and then got the truck chassis, which after when I cut the frame, and got the tires on. I'm sure this one you didn't take full measurements of everything, so the frame doesn't quite sit right. So, for instance, the front and middle axles sit together fine. Which, on a side note, I'm glad that so will get the wheels to free roll. But if you put weight on the back two axles, the front will start to flex upwards. And originally it was that I built the rear suspension wrong, so I took that apart, rebuilt it, and I found that I was still having the same problem. Then when I ended up taking everything off again, that's when I realized the frame isn't exactly square with everything, which I've been carefully trying to flex it back to shape, but haven't really put too much force into it, as I don't want to break it and have to re-glue everything. So it's pretty much that. And then small things that on the rear there was the angled pieces that for the tractor unit that I just trimmed off, as you don't have those on a truck with a dump bed, as it doesn't really make sense. So I did get the rear plate on, adjusted the locator for the hitch receiver to go onto the dolly unit. So pretty much it would just sit in, be one whole unit. So, and then I also do have another one. So if I want to have this trailer combo on a different truck, I can do that, and I can have the truck running just without the trailer. So, which is quite nice. So really, in the time being, it's pretty much just weathering up the chassis and suspension parts. So yeah, and then moving on to trailer, got the dolly unit, which still have to get the fifth wheel plate painted up. But I will say this, I'm still having to. I will say this goes to build this. It's not that bad, and you get all the parts you need besides the fifth wheel plate, which you can easily take that from your tractor you're building into a dump truck. So pretty much that. Still trying to figure out a way how to do the underside, if I want to do if these had any special features on the underside, which I'm sure these would have brake lights. So pretty much it's just putting out a light unit on the underside. So pretty much that, not too much to say. And then got the trailer here, which went together fairly nicely. Do have to put the legs back in. And then I did end up, unfortunately, busting one of the tabs for where the mud flap would go. So I'm gonna have to glue that back in, which I do have as well. And then trying to get the trailer on, or the dump bed on. I did end up snapping the peg here as well for the bed to sit in. So going to be fixing that up as well. So there's a bit more work to do here. And then, of course, I run the airlines through the underside. Had just about had this all done, but had the other airline receiver broke off on me. So I'm going to be gluing that back on later on, but didn't have it for the time of the video. So pretty few things to work on still. Then, of course, going to be running the airlines from the front to the truck itself. So as that's what you would typically have for the truck. So So what was I gonna say? Yeah, so pretty much everything's looking good so far. Got bored and decided to do some more weathering with some powders on the inside of the trailer, including some stain marks. So I have a feeling I'm probably going to get this done here in the next week, hopefully in the next week or so. So, and then with stuff to do, get the fifth wheel plate back there. It's going to line up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and next, pretty much going to be getting, hopefully in the next couple days, I'm going to be painting up the interior, along with the cab itself. So I'm not sure what color I'm going to go for, but I'm going to go with something very 70s like. And then also on the trailer, on the frame here, typically you'd want to paint up the battery pack as well. That goes into the support, but I'm not really going to be bothering with that too much, as to get the cover on itself. It's easy to do with the battery out, but once you have the battery in, it does require a bit more force to keep everything together. But at the same time, you really don't need to be, you don't really open the accessories that often to make it worthwhile doing. So pretty much going to be a little bit so do more of the weathering, like on the wheels here, dirty them up a bit more, paint the body, paint the interior. So hopefully by this week or sometime this week, I'll have more to say about the truck and how it's going together. But so far, if you want to build your own trailer, your own dump truck and tandem trailer unit, this is actually it's a good setup to use. Plus, you have quite a lot of possibilities to use everything for. So, I think pretty much said all there needs to be for this episode. So, pretty much, this is probably going to be it for this video, and we'll have more I have videos planned for later this upcoming week, with a few more projects and such. So, yeah, that'll be it for this video, and see you next time.